Hey guys, welcome to another video. I'm so sorry I haven't been posting as many lately. My wife and I just had our first child, so as you can imagine, that has taken a whole lot of our time. I've been really encouraged, however, to come back to the channel to see that more people are subscribing. If you keep subscribing, I'm gonna keep making videos. It's as simple as that. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I have a lot of cool videos coming up soon that you won't want to miss. Let's get into today's topic, which is the first 7 modifications I think you should make to your Lexus GX470 in order, okay? This is how I ordered the video, so I wanted to do things first do this, then that, because I was totally lost when I first started out with my GX470, so I want to give you guys some of the knowledge I learned along the way, some of the mistakes that I learned from along the way, so you guys don't have to make those same ones. Now, obviously, there will be different opinions on this subject, and I am so willing to hear from you guys. If you have any different ideas than I do, be sure to leave a comment. I respond to all comments, and I'd be happy to dialogue with you about that. And I think other viewers can come in and see our conversation and learn from that as well as the video content. Let's get right into it.
Alright guys, well let's get right into it. You may be expecting me to say tires or suspension, but I am actually going to go with the sleeping platform. This is such a fun DIY project, and after we took our first 1,000-mile road trip with the new GX at the time last June, we paid like $250 a night for some glamping nonsense. I was just kicking myself for not making that sleeping platform, which I was planning on doing at the time, in time for that trip. So just enjoy the car the way it is when you first get it. Get to know it, get to know the controls, everything like that. Take some easy trails and just go out and have fun. Sleep in the back, see what it can do. Obviously, you're not going to have the same off-road capability, but we'll get there soon. Just go out and enjoy your new vehicle at first. Also, the sleeping platform keeps you from having any loose items and ensures that the heavy stuff stays down low. That's the goal of off-roading. You don't want weight too high. You want to make sure that weight stays as low as possible. It'll also help you stay organized with all of your off-roading equipment. Number 2, okay, this is where suspension comes in. And I'm not necessarily saying suspension ought to go first because I think tires are the most effective modification, but suspension will enable you to fit better tires without having to cut too much or trim too much. So I know that tires are a much better bang for buck mod, but if you want to fit larger tires, say around 33 inches, then you're going to want to get some suspension. With the GX470 platform, we're blessed with some pretty good CV angles, so there shouldn't be a need for a diff drop while you're in the 2.5 inch to close to 3 inch range. But if you go that high, that is over 2 inches or so, you're going to want to get aftermarket upper control arms to correct your caster. So the benefits beyond being able to fit better tires are a more secure feeling ride. If you're adding any sort of weight to the vehicle, you want to have an upgraded off-road focus suspension. If your stock suspension is shot, which most 470s, the stock suspension has long gone or is close to going out, so it's great for replacing that with just better, newer suspension that's more functional for your purposes. It also, of course, results in higher ground clearance, which will help you immensely off-road and give you more confidence. Choosing the right suspension will be up to you. I would focus on future you when making this decision. Do you know how much weight you're going to put on the vehicle? If so, make sure that you get a suspension system that will work for future you. Alright, number 3 is tires. So I'm not going to say which tires are best or which ones, you should get. Personally, I have Falken Wild Peak 83Ws. Those are great tires. Most people that are in the GX community run those. It's usually between those and the BF Goodrich KO2s. So that's kind of like where you're starting out. But I'm not going to say which ones you should get. All I'm going to do is give you some things to look out for. What you're looking for is a large sidewall or side profile area. Don't be getting big wheels. Don't go above the factory 17-inch diameter. This won't help you off-road at all. Most people don't think about this, but your tires are an important part of your suspension. If you reduce your tire sidewall area by going with larger diameter wheels, you're reducing the amount of help that your suspension system is getting, and you can end up overheating those parts if you're on corrugated roads or really using the suspension hard. So make sure that you keep those wheels as low diameter as the brakes will allow. When we get into things like tread pattern, this is just something that's going to fit your purposes. So if you're on long road trips with some off-road stints here and there, or you're touring, or you're in the snow a lot, I would highly recommend an all-terrain tire. All-terrains with the snowflake rating on them, fantastic in snow. That's what the Wild Peaks really excel at. They're also really good on dry rocks and ruts and all that sort of stuff. Now, if your primary purpose for the vehicle is just off-roading with small stints on road, or if you're going on long road trips as well and you're just willing to put up with a bit more noise, go mud terrain all day. I think that if you're willing to make those trade-offs, mud terrains are a very capable option that will help you get through the toughest terrain. Number 4 is rock sliders. Protect your rig. Rock sliders are cheap insurance and they will pay for themselves the first time you go over a ledge that's a bit more gnarly than you expected. I remember when I was going up Cleghorn one time and there was a crest that I couldn't quite see over.
It's all good, I got sliders.
We dropped straight down on the driver's side rock slider, which I had just installed a few months prior, and I was so glad that I had those because while you can drive very carefully and try to avoid damaging your doors, I wouldn't have seen that coming because I didn't have a spotter, and those rock sliders paid for themselves in that moment. So it's already paid for. Just get yourself some rock sliders. They're very important for going off-road. Also, rock sliders are great for the GX platform because it means you're losing your factory side steps. This will also increase your vehicle's ground clearance significantly. So keep that in mind as well. Rock sliders are a great option for your GX. So since things may be getting a little more serious for you at this point, having gotten rock sliders, now's a good time to get rated recovery points and recovery gear. Don't try to use the factory installed shipping tie downs. Those aren't good for anything besides securing the vehicle to tow trucks and things like that. All right, next, number 5, I have underbody protection plates. Now, some people may think this should go first. If you can control yourself and drive carefully and slowly over some of the gnarly sections and choose lines that favor putting the vehicle onto the rock sliders that you've installed previously, you can maybe do this a bit later. If you're worried that you're gonna puncture your oil pan, you're not really trusting that you can drive around this modification, I would just move this up your list. Do underbody protection plates before, say tires or suspension. Just do it first. That's fine too. This isn't like a be-all end-all thing. You have to do things according to your own purposes. Number 6, this is gonna be a rooftop setup of some kind. I'm not saying to go full roof rack setup that goes the full length of your GX that costs $1,000. I'm not saying that at all. At this point, you'll have the sleeping platform. You can use that for a while, and you could just use some kind of cheapo roof basket from Amazon to store some luggage, some fuel, and a spare tire if necessary. If camping is your priority, you need to listen to your priorities. If you're looking to get a rooftop tent, just start with the full length setup and get it ready for the rooftop tent in the future. Use a sleeping platform in the meantime, but I would just go ahead and get the full roof rack setup ready for the rooftop tent in the future. I know rooftop tents are very expensive and it may take some time to save up for one, but if camping is your primary purpose, I would say that's probably worth spending money on. But keep in mind, if your primary purpose is off-roading, having a rooftop tent setup is not great for weight distribution. That's just something to keep in mind. It's not that you can't go really hard off-road with a rooftop tent. I'm not saying that at all. But it's just not necessarily ideal if you're going really hard off-road. And number 7 is high output LED lighting. If you're ever caught off-road at night, your headlights are not going to be good enough. You won't be able to see far enough ahead of you to drive safely off-road at night. Just don't try to risk it with that. Always have high output LED lighting when you're planning to go off-road at night. I struggled with not putting that you should get a steel front bumper here because I love the look of my DeMello off-road front bumper so much. It gave me the perfect places to mount my light bar and light pods, and also my winch. But the truth is, you don't need a steel front bumper to mount up the lights. You don't need a steel front bumper to go out and have fun with your rig. I simply wanted this steel front bumper because I liked the way it looked and the convenience that came with being able to mount a winch and lights without having to modify any part of the car. If you have to modify your stock front bumper to fit the lights that you want, I think it's more than worth doing. You can also cut your front bumper for a bit more approach angle while you're at it. I think that you can get a great front end look with that.
So guys, let me know what you think of my list for the best first 7 modifications you should make to your GX470. There are obviously many different factors that can change things around for you, but hopefully this list just gives you a good baseline to go off of and you can customize it to your own ownership experience. I'm really looking forward to making more videos for you guys. I will see you in the next one.